So when you have what you did when you hit F12, you rendered that image. You rendered it. Blender has, well, it has a few render engines, meaning, so you can even get a separate engine, if a separate render engine. It is a renderer. It renders your image, right? So Eevee is on by default. Now, if you go over to, so you see this little camera right here, it is if you're in object mode, the first one is active tool. The second one is render properties, right? And then I want you to click that and go over to where it says Eevee. Click down, go down to cycles. So now you're in the other render engine. They're going to update this to something called Cycles X. And they said it's really awesome. And you're going to go down to where it says, so right at the bottom, you're going to see Grease Pencil, right? Not Grease Pencil. Right under that, you're going to click on to the little sub menu, scroll up, and you're going to click onto Freestyle. Now, it says line thickness mode. It says absolute. And the line thickness is 1 pixel. So make sure that you have Freestyle checked and absolute. You are under cycles, my CPU. I don't know why that's on there. Supported. No. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Put GPU because I should be using my GPU, not my CPU. Now, this may take you a second, but I want you to hit F12. Now, I want to show you what it's doing here with me. So you see it's rendering like that, right? So it's rendering. It's just rendering the way that it's rendering. And you're like, okay, whatever. Okay, it's great. You've shown us this before, Rich. What are you talking about? And then you give it a second. Look at that. Black lines. So my 2D artists out there. Yeah, you can kind of tweak this a bit to give yourself some more lines, but take a look at that. And you haven't even edited anything. You've got your black lines for your buildings, and you can take this, because it is rendered, and wherever you would put your renders at, right? So wherever you would put your renders at, then you can take that into your favorite, so right underneath here, output properties. The resolution, I have it at 1920 by 1080. If you're making a comic, maybe not any bigger than that, because it's one frame essentially, right? And I got the file format as PNG. And you can kind of click onto here to open your file browser and put it whatever you want to put it to. So I just wanted to share that with you, that yes, you can use this for your perspective. Now, let's go in and let me tell you the assignment. So the first things first, you are going to start with a brand new scene. You're going to go new, general. I'm not going to save the changes I made because it doesn't make me any difference. So now, if you want, you can delete the cube or not, but I want you to either hit Shift A or go over to Add, and I want you to add a plane. And from this plane, I just want you to go 40, and I want you to hit Enter. I want you to zoom out, and then what I want you to do is, if we want to delete the cube, we can. We're going to go over here, and you're going to make a building. Now, here's the thing that I want. I want you to make some interesting looking buildings. There's no wrong answer to this. Let your imagination run wild. But I do want to be able to see a little bit of streets there, like a little bit of the walkways. But the biggest thing I want you to do when you make a building, when you're done with your first building, what I want you to do is because I want you to get in the habit of doing this, because I don't do it in Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint or even here, but it will help out. So you're going to hit Shift click, and you're going to hit Control J, because it's going to join. And then you're going to go over here and you're going to rename your building and call it Building Baxter or call it whatever you want to call it. Short building, tall building, whatever, superhero tower. I don't care what you call them. So I want you to do that. And then I want you to check and make sure everything is on the same level. I want you to move this around to this little grid over here. And I just want the grid to line up as much as possible so you have little streets that are in sort of a grid, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit more gridded out. And then I want you to hit F12 and render, and I want you to post it into the Q&A forum. So, if you made it this far, congratulations. Did a lot of stuff. You learned a lot of things. Feel free to go over all of this. Feel free to ask me questions. I look forward to looking at your cities. You don't have to do the freestyle, or you don't have to do the cycles freestyle rendering thing. You don't have to do that. But I do want you to hit F12. Remember, you want to set that up where your... hold on, let me see. So I kind of went over here where it looks like a little printer, and I went down to where it says output. So I clicked onto that little arrow, and it's in it doesn't have to be in PNG. You can use whatever you want to use. Well, PNG or JPEG, it's just easier. I would put it right on your desktop. I would make a little folder for Blender class right on your desktop, so you always can have access to all the files that you made in the course. And all you have to do is click onto this, and it'll open up the browser. That's kind of common in most pieces of software. And you just browse to your desktop, create a new folder, and it'll go right to there. So the next time that you say hit F12, that'll be saved in your browser. And this didn't do anything when I hit F12. It didn't show me anything but a bunch of gray, but it will be in that folder, and you can rename it. So if I did hit F12. This is a render result image, and you want to go save the image, and you can just always change the name of the image. So we'll just hit save. So, and it'll save to your, it should save to your, let me go here. And so underneath here, I can go and save it. So my saving video is, so there it is, it's untitled PNG, and I'll just call this gray because it's terrible. It just looks like it's gray. We'll just save it as the image, and it saved it there. So if I go to that individual folder, and give me 1 second here, sorry. I have to navigate to the folder, and it's not like you need to see me navigate to the folder. I don't need you looking at my folders. Kidding me? Okay, so here I am with my folders, and I'm looking for a file that says gray, and there it is. That's the gray PNG. So there you go. So that's what you want to do. When you hit F12, you can save it, and it'll give you the folder that you want to save it in. It'll go back there the next time, but you always want to save it every time so you don't lose anything. But we're just not going to be saving PNGs. So, and don't forget to go and save the current Blender file when you're done updating it. And one more thing here. Okay, so if you go to your preferences, go to your preference menu. You should know how to get there. Save and load, or hopefully you do. Save and load. So we got auto saver. Now mine is timed every 2 minutes. You may want to crank that up to 5. I'm going to go with 5. And so, you know, there you go. I got save prompt, default to relative paths, save preview images. It's giving me a preview images of the things that I saved, which you may want to click on that. And file, browser, reason, location, system, bookmarks. Now, I mean, that's up to you, but that's what you want to do with your blend files. So, and I also remember I have it on auto save preferences. So all I have to do is close it, and I think that's there by default, but I want to make sure. All right. So, looking forward to those assignments. I will see you in the next section. But take your time, take your time, take your time. All right.